They mocked him, called him a failure, a criminal, someone who'd never amount to anything. But nobody knew the battle he was fighting or what he would do to save his daughter. In the quiet streets of Savannah, Georgia, a man named Elias Carter walked slowly toward his small apartment. His shoulders were heavy, his shoes worn. He had been in prison for a mistake he regretted every single day. Now he was free, but the world made sure he never forgot who he was. Most people avoided him, some laughed when they saw him. "Ex-con, keep your distance," they muttered. "Why is he even walking around?" The whispers stung, but Elias didn't answer. He had bigger worries. Inside his apartment, his daughter Amara, 12 years old, sat at the table with her head buried in her hands. She had always been bright, a natural at painting, but lately her spark had dimmed. Her school fees were overdue, supplies were scarce, her dream of joining the school art competition slipping away. Elias closed the door behind him and knelt beside her. "Amara," he said softly, "I know it feels like everything is falling apart, but I promise we'll find a way." She looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "How, Dad, how? You've just, come back from prison." "We have nothing." Elias swallowed the lump in his throat. He had no money, no connections, no safety net, but he had faith in himself. Faith in Amara. He hugged her tight. "We'll make a miracle happen somehow." The next morning, Elias stepped out into the chilly city streets. The air smelled of rain. The sidewalks were wet and crowded. He walked past people who whispered, laughed, and pointed. "Look at him, I can't even get a real job. Bet he's back in trouble soon." Elias ignored them. He had no time for judgment. He went to the local community center where he remembered seeing flyers about art scholarships and competitions. He asked around, explained his daughter's situation. They were kind but realistic. "There are thousands of kids applying. We can't guarantee anything," they said. Elias nodded. He had expected that. Next, he went to the art supply store. He begged the owner for leftover paint scraps or damaged canvases. The owner laughed. "You? Helping your kid? Don't make me laugh, man. You're barely keeping yourself together." The words stung, but Elias kept moving, because he knew something that no one else did. Desperation could spark brilliance. That night, he returned home empty-handed. Amara had tried painting anyway, using scraps of cardboard and broken pencils. The colors were faint, the lines shaky, but the love in the work was unmistakable. Elias knelt beside her again. "This is amazing, Amara. Don't let anyone tell you it's not." She smiled weakly. "I wish it could be enough. I really want to win the competition." Elias squeezed her hand. "You will. We'll find a way." Days passed. Elias worked every odd job he could find. Cleaning yards, fixing fences, delivering groceries. It wasn't much. Not enough to pay for school fees or quality art supplies. Some neighbors laughed at him. "Ex-con cleaning our yards. What a joke." But Elias never gave up. One evening, he saw a flyer for the regional art competition at a local gallery. The registration fee was $500. Elias had $12. He stared at the flyer, heart sinking. Then he remembered something. Months ago, a woman had mentioned a gallery owner who sometimes sponsored talented kids from low-income families. Elias decided to take a chance. The next morning, he walked to the gallery. He begged to speak with the owner. The receptionist sneered. "We don't take kids from troubled families." "Your daughter isn't special." Elias's jaw tightened. "I don't need luck. I just need a chance, one shot." The receptionist rolled her eyes and walked away. Elias waited. He refused to leave. Hours passed. Then finally, a tall woman emerged from the back office. Her name was Clara Reynolds, the gallery owner. "You've been waiting long," she said. "Yes, ma'am. I just want my daughter to have a shot. She's brilliant, even if no one else believes it." Clara looked skeptical, but something in Elias's eyes made her pause. "You're an ex-con, aren't you?" "Yes. But that doesn't mean I can't raise a genius," he replied softly. Clara's lips twitched into the first hint of a smile she'd shown all day. "Fine, one chance. Bring her work tomorrow." The next day, Amara walked into the gallery holding her cardboard canvases. Her paintings were rough but alive. Vibrant colors danced across the paper. Clara's eyes widened. This is incredible," she said. The room was silent. Amara's talent was undeniable. She won the regional scholarship that covered tuition and art supplies. The crowd who had mocked Elias outside the gallery watched in awe as he hugged his daughter. For the first time in years, Elias smiled without shame. That night, Elias and Amara walked home under the stars. "I told you, Dad," Amara said. "You made a miracle happen." Elias hugged her. "Not me. Faith, determination, and believing in you. That's what saved the day. Sometimes people judge you for your past, but it's what you do now that defines your future." The neighbors who laughed at him before now whispered. They saw what true courage looks like, because sometimes the person society writes off is the one who quietly saves someone they love the most. If this story touched your heart, leave and share it with someone who needs hope today.